season starts. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rachel Garland alongside my co-host Sydney Sneed. We're going to see some great gymnastics today. Again, both teams just jumping right in. But let's talk a little bit about what we can expect throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, Rachel, both teams are coming off of phenomenal seasons. We're going to see a lot of new routines and a lot of new faces in the lineups tonight. But the coaches are really going to be looking for those hit-aggressive routines to start out this 2025 season.
Exactly. Both teams talked to us ahead of time about going 24 for 24. And with as much great gymnastics that's coming our way, let's take a look back at these successful 2024 seasons.
Absolutely. We see NC State winning the 2024 ACC regular season and tournament championship, going 197 in 4 meets last year. Also moving on to the Ann Arbor Regional, led by Coach Kim Landris, 2-time Eagle Coach of the Year. Love that picture of her after winning the ACCs. We also have Chloe Negretti returning this year for her 6th year, but she was the 2024 ACC Specialist of the Year, so big things to come from her as well.
Absolutely, and with all the success that NC State had in the ACC, Towson had just as much success with their conference.
Towson also coming off a phenomenal season, back-to-back Eagle champions, going 197-3 at the championship, which is the highest in program history. Then on top of that, going to the second round of the 2024 Gainesville Regional, led by head coach Jay Ramirez in his 6th season, 3-time Eagle Coach of the Year. We're going to see some big things from them, and actually the last time these two teams met was at Eagle Championships, where Towson did take the crown on that.
Absolutely. And we've got rotation number 1 about to get started. NC State is going to rotate in Olympic order, which is vault, bars, beam, and they will finish on floor exercise. Towson will follow a somewhat traditional away meet college format. They'll be starting on bars, followed by vault, then they're going to go to floor, and they have to wrap up on the balance beam. We've got some lineups here for you. You can see NC State starting off with one of their graduate students, Krista Zoltovich. They've also got a freshman in the lineup in the 5th spot with Sanaya Thomas. And then Ashley Knight, the 2024 ACC vault champion, wrapping up with that vault rotation. Towson again on the bars. A lot of specialists that they've trained, but this year we may see some all-rounders out of this Towson team. So NC State again starting off strong with one of their graduates, Krista Zoltovich.
They're really going to be looking for a big vault right out of the gate here, just to get that lineup started. We talk about building the lineup throughout competition, right? Your first person up to the last person up. They want big vaults, but really they were focused on the landings when we talked to Kim Landris earlier this week.
Definitely the landings, and what she said out of this first meet is not so much the sticks, it's the control.
We see Yurchenko full to start this off, a small hop backwards, and that is one thing that Coach Landris mentioned is let's keep those steps and those hops minimal. It's okay if they happen. We're not expecting perfection at this point in the year, but as long as we can keep them to a minimal, we'll be good.
Absolutely, and I think this was pretty minimum, especially, again, for as dynamic of a vault as Krista did. A small hop on that landing. I think Coach Landris is going to be extremely excited for that leadoff spot. All right, moving right over to the uneven bars. This is Lauren Keener.
Starting off strong with that handstand into that straddle Jaeger, right back down to the low bar. Again, noting that the judges are really looking for those tight handstands on top of the bar and those stop landings, which she got on that double tuck for her dismount.
So a great leadoff for both teams, both of them starting with very tenured athletes on these apparatuses. So some high fives all around for Keener as Meg Adler gets set up and ready to go for the Wolfpack. A career high of a 9.875 on this event. Competed in 10 meets last year for this Wolfpack team.
You see another Yurchenko full. Really nice height off the table. A little bit of a bigger hop back, so that's going to be probably the biggest deduction from that vault. But let's take another look at this Yurchenko full. You can see right here, really nice height and block off the table.
Almost needs to open it up a little bit sooner.
Right.
Kind of let it float down so she doesn't have quite such a big hop at the end.
She had plenty of power on that.
Yeah, the height on that one was fantastic. So very dynamic vault from Meg. Up in the second spot is Lauren Green for the Towson Tigers. You can see last season that 9.85 bars. The NQS is their national qualifying score. We'll talk about that as the season gets later on, but that's how the teams ultimately are ranked before going into the postseason. There you see Keener's opening score, that 9.65, a little bit lower than they were probably expecting, but again, first meet jitter. She was the first competitor in this 2025 season.
And a lot of the times too, in this case, it's the first meet for the judges as well. So just being able to get, refreshed on what they're looking for, deductions. We'll see some of that as well. Starts off with that pike Jaeger down to the low bar. See a lot of those combinations throughout the lineups here. Gearing up for a dismount, double tuck. Held on a little too long on that landing, so you could see because of that she had to take a couple steps back, which will be a deduction.
And I was going to comment on how well those handstands were. I thought she did a really good job hitting those verticals.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's so early on in the season, so a lot of first meet jitters going on, and you want to be able to focus in on a couple of things. You can see that dismount could have opened up a tiny bit earlier, and she would have had that stick.
All right, our first look at graduate student Chloe Negretti. One of the returning stars for this Wolfpack team.
Another solid Yurchenko full. She's just so dynamic on everything. You'll see that on all of her events tonight, but just really sharp and smooth landing. It could have been a bigger hop. She did a great job saving that.
Career high on this event of a 9.925. And we could go through the many accolades of Chloe Negretti, but that would take the whole broadcast. So 3 up for the Wolfpack team. As Chloe gets a small break, we will not see her on the uneven bars, but we will see her later again on beam and floor. Bars, I think, ready to go. Steph Makasu, another senior out of Nottingham, Maryland.
A little bit short on that handstand to start off, but does a huge release move. Again, right back down to the low bar. A lot of those combinations that we've seen. A blind full into that double tuck dismount. Almost had the landing, chest was down. So again, a deduction will come from that landing, but overall a solid routine. Let's take another look.
So a couple of stumbles on the landings for the Tigers. Great combination though, and I love her toe point.
Really pretty pack down to that low bar. Just opened a little too early.
All right, Maddie Hall for the Wolfpack team. Maddie, just a sophomore.
Really nice Yurchenko full. I really liked how that looked in the beginning of the vault. The entry onto the table and then the push and the block off the table as well. I noticed a bit of a squat on that landing, which I think will be a deduction, but love the body shape throughout the air. It's very straight, and that's exactly what the judges are going to want to see. So again, once once she gets that stuck landing, that's going to be a huge score for the Wolfpack.
Absolutely, a very strong start for Maddie. Competed 7 meets last year on this event. So good to see her out here in this home opener. And then we'll have Clara Hong for the Tigers on the uneven bars. And you can see her NQS from last year, her national qualifying score of about 9.84. She actually went 9.85 in the Eagle Conference meet on this event. So one of their strong bar performers. Hoping to get some of those scores up a little bit, a 9.65 and a 9.7. Definitely looking towards getting closer to those 9.8 pluses. Let's talk a little bit about some of the points of emphasis on what we've got for bars.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but what the judges are really looking at, those handstands right on top of the bar, nice body shape throughout the air. Then the releases, we want to see those big releases, and then onto that, the dismounts, stuck landings. That's what all the coaches are going to be looking for. That's going to be no deduction when you have both feet, you're holding it for a second. We have not the college finishes that we used to see a lot of. The judges are cracking down on that now, so no movement on the dismount on your feet.
They have, and they've actually clarified that rule from last year where they had to hold the stick for 1 second. This year it's 1 second in the direction of your landing and no celebration. So no fist bumps, no symbols, no school signs, anything like that for 1 second once they salute before finishing before saluting the judges after they finish their routine.
And so far, this has been a clean routine throughout. You saw that Pike Jaeger as that release move. Really nice height. Finishing with a handstand on top of the bar. Stuck dismount. Wow. And that's what we're talking about. That stuck landing in the direction there. That was a perfect timing.
Perfect routine to emphasize those key points of emphasis. So really strong handstands, very dynamic release moves.
Yeah.
And then the stuck landing with the 1 second finish before Coach Jay came over to give some celebrations.
There you go. You see the handstand right into this dismount, which this dismount's very difficult. She made that look really easy, but that front landing.
And I think their coach was more excited than she was. As we take a look at freshman Sanaya Thomas from this NC State team, way to make a debut.
Absolutely. Huge Yurchenko fall. You can see she landed in between those two white lines, which is the direction part of the vault apparatus. You want to make sure that the judges see you land right behind the table. You can see nice block off of that. And honestly, a minimal hop.
Just a scooch. Yeah, just a scooch of those feet. So
that's going to give her some confidence.
Big things out of this freshman. Definitely one on this Wolfpack team to watch for. We'll move right back over to the uneven bars in the 5th spot. This is Chelsea Dennis.
Starting out with another Pike Jaeger release. Right back down to a low bar. It looks like she struggled a little bit on that first handstand, but does a very unique dismount. Checks it down a tiny bit, but she made it up with the stick.
Definitely. Yeah, you know, like you said, you don't see that dismount, the toe on Pike front half.
Yep.
We'll take another look at this.
You can see she toes on the bar into that front Pike and then does a half twist. Which again,
I think she was just as shocked with that stick.
Really nicely done.
But a great routine out of Dennis, and then we've got Isabella Minervini in the final spot for the Towson Tigers. As we take a look at the reigning ACC vault champion, this is Ashley Knight, and their only 10-0 start on this Wolfpack team.
You're going to see a huge vault right here. Front handspring, huge. Wow. I don't know if I should call it 9-9 plus now or what, but that was...
I don't have any words for that.
A great way 2025 season. You can see huge front handspring, front pike with that half twist. Her feet do not move. And she is right behind the vault table.
I think that was better than her ACC vault, and she went 9.925 on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a big score for the Wolfpack, and again, it's going to give her a ton of confidence. That's her first meet of the year and goes and sticks, actually nails the vault.
Nails that one. That's about
more than just a stick.
As you can get. You can see the running total for the NC State vault team. So already to 48.75. Got 9.675 from Meg Adler, slightly grayed out. That's the score that they're hoping to drop. Which again, assuming that Knight scores as well as we think she will, that will be the drop score. So Bella Minervini on the uneven bars.
Really pretty form throughout this routine. Huge Tkachev down to that packed on the low bar. And now back up again. Nice handstand on top of the bar. So far, this has been a really clean routine. Double-legged dismount. Wow, both of these teams are just putting exclamation points on their lineup.
Absolutely love it. And I think she just showed exactly why she was ranked 4th in the country last year on this event.
Take a look at that nicely done release move right down into that pat to the low bar. And again, all these handstands, notice her toe point as well. Into that double layout. That's a textbook double layout dismount.
Both teams do have exhibitions, so we will see an extra routine from every from every team on each event.
Nice Yurchenko full. Again, very dynamic vault, but big hop back, so just those landings, which you'll hear us talk about throughout the entire season on every single event. So
The landings can make or break that national team title.
Absolutely.
So that was a great exhibition from freshman Ava Meyer. She's on the ACC watch list for this conference overall, and we'll see her in and out. I'm not sure if we'll see her in the competition today, but we will definitely keep our eyes on her. And then you see the final team score for NC State on vault, just shy of that 49, a 9.85 on Knight's vault. I want to see the reductions.
I know, so do I, but a 9.85, it's a great first score for your first meet.
Absolutely, and then you see Polona Belanovsky on the uneven bars in an exhibition spot.
She went to do that toe on up to the handstand, didn't quite get that all the way around, unfortunately.
But that's what's great about these exhibitions. So it's not only the first meet, but using that exhibition spot actually allows 7 gymnasts to compete so that they get some extra practice in as well.
And one thing Coach Ramirez said that I really liked is it's the first meet with judges and a crowd, and that's hard to simulate in practice, right? You can do the routines over and over again, but actually getting into that competition setting is very different. So he said, I expect to see a couple of mistakes here and there, first meet jitters, and you know, I agree with him. I think that's the case for all the teams. So to hear him say that was really refreshing, I thought.
Absolutely. Both coaches on our pre-meet calls talked about how they've done a number of different inter squads. But even those inner squads, even if you bring judges into your practice arena, it's just not the same as the crowd and the judges and the scoring system and everything kind of wrapped up into one. So she's going to start again.
Unfortunately, looked like it was on the same scale. I think maybe just having a hard time gripping the bar sometimes can be slippery.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. I think she's going to take that one, get back to the gym, keep practicing. Glad nothing too serious happened on that fall. So, yeah, good to see her up and walking around. But that will actually conclude the first rotation. You can see what a close meet this is. So the event one team totals down in the bottom right, 48.925 to a 48.9. We knew it was going to be a close one with both of these. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with rotation number